Today we are going to learn 4 possibilities for forming longer sentences in German. Sometimes we need to give reasons or want to explain something in more detail, and in these cases basic sentences aren't enough. We need to combine 2 or more sentences or use subordinate clauses. So join me. So we have already learned how to form a basic sentence in German. So if you still have any questions related to the basic sentence, please check my video. Remember, the most important rule is always the verb has to be in the second position. We've also already learned how to connect main clauses. We can use und, oder or aber to do so. Today we will learn 4 more of these connectors. But this time it's a bit more difficult because we will have to change the verb position. We will start with wenn. Wenn es regnet, gehen wir ins Kino. So you see we have a subordinate clause. This is the when part. Wenn es regnet. Then we have to put a comma and then gehen wir ins Kino. You can also see the first half of the sentence, the subordinate clause is ending with the verb and the main clause begins with the verb. They are only separated by a comma. It's really important you internalize the structure because it's a common error to say, wenn es regnet, wir gehen ins Kino. But that's wrong, we have to put the verb first. For the main clause you can add dann. Wenn es regnet, dann gehen wir ins Kino. This doesn't affect the verb position. You can add it, you don't have to. We can also flip this order around and start with the main clause. Wir gehen ins Kino, wenn es regnet. So you see here we have the main clause as a basic sentence. Wir gehen in the second position ins Kino. Then we have to put the comma. And the subordinate clause begins with when. This pattern is very important. You need it in a lot of situations and it will help you so much to vary your sentence structure. So it's really essential if you want to improve your speaking, writing, or even consider to take a test in German to know these patterns. I'll give you another example. Wenn ich später nach Hause fahre, nehme ich den Zug. Or ich nehme den Zug, wenn ich später nach Hause fahre. The meaning doesn't change, it's up to you which order you prefer in this case. Our second connector is das. You see, we have to write 2 s and that really matters. If it's only 1 s, it will be a relative clause, which we'll do later, so please don't mix those 2 up. Ich hoffe, dass das Wetter morgen schön sein wird. So you can see we have this short introduction, which is typical for this das sentence. Ich denke, ich hoffe, ich glaube, ich meine, all of these expressions. Then we have the comma and then das with double S. And you see the verb goes to the very end of the sentence. In our case it's even 2 of them because we use the future tense. And you see both verbs go to the end. Ich denke, dass ich gut Fußball spiele. Or we can use an additional modal verb. Ich denke, dass ich gut Fußball spielen kann. So for this pattern it's really important you memorize the verb goes to the end of the sentence. Our third connector is obwohl, which means even though. Ich freue mich auf den Sommer, obwohl ich hohe Temperaturen nicht mag. So we have two sentences with kind of opposite meaning. On the one hand, I like the summer. On the other hand, I don't like high temperatures. And we can perfectly connect such a sentence with obwohl. You can see also in the case of obwohl, the verb goes to the end of the sentence. Ich gehe gerne in die Schule, obwohl ich Hausaufgaben nicht mag. Ich arbeite in einer Schule, obwohl ich Kinder nicht mag. And if we have two verbs, both go to the end. Ich habe keine Zeit, obwohl ich gerne an der Veranstaltung teilnehmen würde. Ich interessiere mich nicht für das Museum, obwohl ich mich generell für Geschichte interessiere. Ich spiele nicht in einer Fußballmannschaft, obwohl ich sehr gut Fußball spielen kann. So once again, both verbs go to the end. The modal verb is in the last position. Our last connector is deshalb, which means that's why. Es regnet heute, deshalb ziehe ich eine Regenjacke an. Es regnet heute, deshalb gehen wir ins Kino. So we want to explain why we do something, and we can combine those two sentences with deshalb. You can see in this sentence the verb doesn't go to the last position, but it follows deshalb directly. Ich gehe heute nicht in die Schule, deshalb muss ich keine Hausaufgaben machen. So you can see here we have the verb bracket. Only one verb goes to the end, the modal verb is in the beginning. Or we can have a separable verb. Es regnet heute, deshalb ziehe ich eine Regenjacke an. Or once again, this is the word order you know from the basic sentence. The verb follows deshalb and the prefix goes to the end of the sentence. I'll show you now a table with all the 4 different connectors and how the verb position changes. It's really important to memorize these rules, and the one thing that will help you to do so is practice. So we do a little exercise together. I hope this video has helped you. Thank you so much for watching and see you in the next one.